Okay, guys, let's continue. This is a session 2, and now we want to see how we can basically identify this task. What happened is, for example, for entrance, I maybe I pick a few of these and discuss what is going to happen, and you can understand what is going to happen for the rest. Okay, so I pick the entrance, then comes to my project team and discuss mainly who was the minor, uh, labor. Okay, discuss with Astesh, Zone, and also Rith, the manager, the project manager, and discuss and see uh, basically how we can identify, because first thing to do is to identify a good place to create our entrance. Okay, so if you look at this task, I received the information from them that maybe doing the brainstorming with them, and the task that we identified is, okay, first we need to find a place for entrance, dig into the mountain. So dig into the mountain is going to happen with those two minor, and then produce entrance door. To create the entrance door, someone is needs to create the door, right? Then door deployment, and another person also should deploy the door. Now let me move back to the project plan. Now we have our resource. If I go to the Gantt chart, now if you look at here, for entrance, find a place for entrance. Okay, maybe I put, let's say let's say after discussion with him, they are going to tell me that, okay, to find a good place for our entrance to enter the fortress, it we may need 2 days. Okay, and let me bring the resource. Okay, who's supposed to do this? Find the place, manager, maybe Rith was the manager, and the manager is going to say, okay, I can do it in 2 days, fine. But dig into the mountain. Once the Rith managed to find the place, then what we need to do is dig to the mountain, right? And this is going to happen by Astesh and what was the name, Zone, or maybe one of them or two of them, both are going to work on this one. Okay, then they are going to say maybe this task require 3 days. They are but before that, maybe let me simplify the project calendar, remove the holidays, change working time. Let me do it quickly here. I'm not creating new calendar because I don't want to use calendars, but I normally say in my videos, always try to create calendars. It's not a big deal here, I think. 8 hours, right? 50, doesn't matter, right? It's fine, we don't need that part. Yeah, so fine, so good. Okay, don't do these dwarfs, not, they don't have holidays basically. Then the next one here is produce entrance door. Okay, so entrance door, is there, you need to think, is there any link between finding the place and dig into the mountain by producing the door? You may say no, there is no link. I can, I even when Wraith is going to search for a place, I can start building the door. But you also may say no, the size of door, the shape of door should depends on the shape of the entrance and the shape of the output of work from an Astish and Zone. So you may come to me and say, better we wait, they dig into the mountain and then we create the entrance door. So here, if you look at here, there is some logical link. You cannot dig into the mountain if Reed didn't find the place. Okay, you have to do it after he found the place. Okay, you cannot just blindly go and try to dig into the mountain. But here, it's something that possible, but based on some other concerns, you decide, oh, okay, so better we wait for Astesh and Zorn to complete this one, and then we build, and then we deploy and set up. We do the setup. Building the door maybe takes 2 days, and the setup maybe 1 day. Okay, maybe 1 day. So remember, some of the links is based on the nature of the work. You cannot. You, for example, here you cannot deploy the door if the door is not ready. Your door is not exist. First, you have to create the door, then deploy it. Right? It's the nature of the work. But sometimes, like this example, producing the door after digging the mountain. Okay. Sometimes it can happen in parallel with other tasks or earlier, but because of some concerns, you decide to not do it. Here was that case, okay? Because they wanted to see the shape of the entrance in the mountain, then try to create the door. Because by this, basically, this is the logic. Actually, it's all made up in my mind, right? It's not the actual real case. It's a video game, and but I'm just trying to show you how you can think, how people can interact with each other, and project team can interact with each other during the brainstorming discussion about the duration required to do the job, and the link and relation between tasks, and update the planning. Okay, then the ground area. The ground area has 2 tasks, right? Create a space for ground floor, and create stairs to reach the next floor, right? So when they can start this one, definitely they need first they need the space, then create the stairs for the next floor. So I create this link. But when exactly they can start? Is it related to door deployment? Definitely not. But it totally linked to dig into the mountain. Who is going to work on this? Maybe here also. Create a space, definitely our miners, Astesh and Zone, and create stairs, also Astesh and Zone, because as I said, the main job here is by them. But I didn't select resource for these two. Who is responsible to produce entrance door? Now suddenly say, okay, we want to produce the door, but inside of the game, you have 2 type of resource: stone, wood. When you want to craft, when you want to create, let me check if I can show it to you, because at the moment I don't have workshop, I cannot show it to you, but later on I will, once I created the workshop, I will show it to you. But normally in Dwarf Fortress, you can, as a base, there are different materials, but you can create a stone door, or you can create a wooden door, right? Wood from tree. This is a tree. This circle here is tree. Okay, you can cut the tree, use the wood from this tree, and this is a stone. You can use the stone to what? To create the door, right? So, but suddenly you notice, okay, so to produce the entrance door, I need first I need to create what? I need to create a workshop. If you remember, on floor 3. Yes, on floor 3 we have stoneworker workstation, and we have carpenter station. With carpenter station, I can create the wooden door. With the stoneworker workstation, I can create stone. But the question here is, which one I need to use? The furniture and the door should be with the wood, or with the stone? Okay, that's a very valid fundamental question in the project. When this case or similar case happen, your reference should be your requirement. You go to the requirement, contract, project scope, RFP proposal, you review them, okay? And if it's not mentioned, what you need to do is exactly similar to the story of the stairs. You need to raise it to the project key stakeholders, discuss with the customer, project owner, and get their feedback, finalize the solution, and then perform impact analysis, identify the cost, identify the impact on time, identify impact on the process, resource, and consider all aspects of this missing point, and then come back and revise everything. Okay, scope, WBS if required. You may end up having more tasks, and update everything. Okay, so you here this is, let's say, scope amendment 1. Now you have scope amendment 2. Furniture and doors should made by stone materials. This is also scope amendment 2. Okay, now move back here. No, where are we? Okay, so and create a space for ground floor. Okay, where were we? Okay, produce entrance door. So because it said that to produce the entrance door, you need to use what? The stone. So the stone worker station should be ready. The task ID is 41, and produce entrance door. The predecessors for this task is not only 4 and 41. Okay, I'm just giving the link. So without the worker station, the stone worker station, I cannot create the entrance door. That's the point. Now let's continue. This is for floor 1. Okay, create require space for common area. I cannot do this without completing the stairs for floor 1, right? Let me create the link. Then once common area is created, I can create the kitchen area. Once the kitchen area is created, then I can set up kitchen. I can look at here. You have different things: set up kitchen, set up butchery, set up farmer, set up steel. 4 points here, right? 4 different items that you need to set up in the kitchen area, but and they are not connected to each other. They are not linked to each other. You can start with whatever you want, right? But here you have another limitation. Let's assume. Let me give the resource for this one, then move back. Who was the mason? Let me resource sheet. Mason was lead. So mason, because you are going to build furniture and door with stone, right? So your mason should work on this one. So lead is going to be this person, and maybe the woodcutter, Rakust. We use the Rakust to deploy. Okay, so lead is going to produce furniture with the stone and doors with the stones, and Rakust as a woodcutter is going to deploy the furniture and deploy the doors, right? Let's assume that this is our decisions. So here, produce the entrance door, lead, our lovely mason, door deployment, Rakust. Here, create require space in common area, stash and zone. And maybe they are going to say it require 5 days, maybe. Then require space for kitchen area, maybe 10 days, or maybe 5 days again. This one. Oh, the space is B. Then let's say also it's a beautiful example. Let's say stash and zone telling you it require 5 days, and for this one also going to give you 5 days. But whenever as a project manager or project planner you receive this information, you need to double check for common sense. For example, the common area was 5 by 5, but the kitchen area was 10 by 10, so the required space for the kitchen is basically 2 times more than the common area. I'm not saying necessarily they are lying or it should be the time also should be double, but what I'm saying is you need to dig more, you need to ask questions, you need to check why this one took 5 days and this one also took 5 days. They may say, oh, we made a mistake, or maybe there is a very valid reason behind that. Maybe based on their study on the location of the kitchen, they noticed that the soil and the stone in this section is not hard to dig, but the place that they are going to create the common area is really hard to dig, and that's why from duration point of view both of them require the same time. But here let's say no, this is not the case, they made a mistake on this station and now require 10 days. Okay, now back to this point, this 4. As I said, deployment was woodcutter, right? The woodcutter was Rakust. All of this should happen by Rakust, but I think you already noticed the problem. The problem is Rakust cannot set up all 4 together, right? And it's better to start with one, complete one, then go for next one, right? It's better, but there is no logical relation between these 4, and you can start with just whatever you want, right? In these cases, maybe you can define the logic, but in the actual work, maybe on that day some material for the kitchen is not ready, so he can stop the kitchen, start with the butchery station, right? So for now, let's assume that Rakust should work sequentially to deliver this, but he can only start this when the common area for the kitchen is ready. Then there is a task, create require space for farm. When you can start this one? As soon as stash and zone completed their work on kitchen area, can start working on farm, right? You could also start with farm instead of kitchen, right? It's fine if you replace it, if you try on, if you on your side also try to solve this case with Microsoft project. You may try to maybe put the farm first. It's up to you. It should be fine, either starting with the farm then kitchen, or start with kitchen then go for farm. But yeah, another case is if you have enough resource. For example, if you convince Momus or convince Rit as a project manager to pick up the hammer, pick up the pickaxe and help for digging, maybe you can do it in parallel, right? The important point here is at this step you need to discuss with the resource, you need to see how they want to do the job, is it efficient, is it or not, and try to find a reasonable way to work and plan for their work. Okay, so it's not necessarily that you finish common area for the kitchen then starting on farm. It can be in parallel, but it depends on your resource availability. For the setup kitchen, maybe 1 day is fine. Create require a space for this Astish and zone, and maybe 3 days. Okay, then set up plump helmet and farm. Do you remember we had a planter, right? Maybe this time instead of Rakust we can use our planter. Who was the planter? What a beautiful music. The planter is Feb. Let me move back. Okay, the planter is Feb. Maybe Feb can do this part. And let's say half of day. It's not a big deal. We just want to put the seed in the soil. Okay, now we want to move to floor 2. Create require a space. Stairs also, we missed the stairs one. When you want to create the stairs for floor 2, once you completed creating a space for the farm, right? Then once the stairs to floor 2 is completed, then you need to work on common area. So this one is also Astish and zone, and maybe it requires 3 days. Then working on second floor, common area for second floor 5 days. Then maybe here you have to create 4 space separately for the warehouse, and each of them is 10 by 10. Maybe each of them 5 days. And similar to the story of a station, you need to remember that you only have 2 resources. Okay, how you want to do this? Maybe sequential. Maybe you say instead of sequential and each of them take 5 days, maybe I can assign 2 of them to zone and 2 other to Astesh, and each of them will take I can start 2 of them in parallel, but each of them instead of 5 days takes 10 days. Okay, it's up to you. It's up to you how you want to plan it. But here, let's assume that sequentially both of them work together, because if you remember, Astesh was the actual miner, expert with experience, designated basically miner. Zone wasn't the miner, right? Let me find the zone. Where is the zone? Zone. Here. Zone. Where is labor? I can see it here. Zone was a metal crafter, so zone hasn't enough experience. So maybe you say it's not a good idea. We let zone work separately and give him full responsibility. It's better zone works in parallel with the Astesh, so Astesh can have a control, guide him, help him, right? So these are also very important points that you need to consider during your project planning. Once common area is completed, you start this one, and you also need to create trade post. Maybe after the maybe say, okay, I don't need to where is this part? Okay, so maybe you say I don't want when the first warehouse is completed. Let me do this. It's better. So common area, let me put it 3 days. Okay, this is also so. Then you say, okay, after common area, I want to complete the first warehouse. Let me press Control. Then I want to do the trade post. Then I want to do warehouse 2, then warehouse 3, then warehouse 4, then create the stairs. Okay. So what happened is these two gentlemen, these two dwarf, Astish and Zone, is going to first create the common area, then create the first warehouse, so other people, other dwarfs can start gathering material and put them in the warehouse, and then they move to create the trade post, and then they are going to create warehouse 2, 3, 4, and at the end they are going to create stairs for the third floor. Okay. See, I made a mistake. This task is repeated. Let me delete this one. After this, create trade post. It's the same. It's repeated 2 times. Let me fix this. And set up trade post should happen this, and after completing this one you go for the second. Now it's correct. There was an extra task, so probably it should be mistake here also in the task list. Let me fix this. Set up, where is it? Trade post, right? I should not have trade post under warehouse. Okay, now it's good. This one also is by these two lovely people, and maybe the stairs takes 2 days. Create trade post area, maybe Zone, and set up trade post. Set up trade post should be Rakust, right? Then create manager room, these 2 people. I think we forgot about the manager room. Manager room also in floor 2. Maybe I should not create. Let me remove this one. Maybe first create the manager room also as well. So let me create a link here, right? Then produce table and chair. For the chair and table, maybe use the same logic. You may say, okay, we don't need to have room for manager, then create the chair and table, right? You may say that, and it's true. You can start producing this before having the actual room, but you may say, okay, we don't know the how the room is looks like, because anyway it's not a normal building. It's a kind of a cave inside of the mountain, and dwarfs are digging into the mountain. So maybe someone say, okay, let's wait. And then who was the mason? The mason was Feb, right? No, Led. Led was the mason. Let me put them Led. And deploy by Rakust, right? Deploy by Rakust. And when the create manager room is complete, only then you can create the stairs for the next. And once this one is complete, you can start working on this one. Common area on 3rd floor. Then create workshop area. Fine. Then the story of the stations. similar to the warehouse, you need to decide which one you wanna create first, because uh, these two is by these two gentlemen. But then set up the stone worker station. Mm, I think this one can be handled by Rakust, and Rakust is only one person. So but maybe sequential, same as previous one. But I should not link, for example, set up the jeweler station with the stairs to the fourth floor. Once Astesh and Zone completed their job on workshop area, can immediately work on the floor 4. Now let's also put some duration. I think I forgot to put the duration. I created the link, but I didn't put this duration. Maybe create trade post, require 3 days, set up 1 day, then create manager room, maybe 5 days, produce one chair, one table, maybe 3 days, deploy 1 day, create common area for the floor 3. Common area is 5 by 5, so maybe I put 5 days, maybe because it's floor 3 is a little bit harder. Then create workshop area 10 days, set up the workshop, each of them, maybe this workshop require more time, so 2 days, and stairs to 4th floor require 4 days. See, now because all this link updated, now here you have a stone worker station, and because you link this one to door entrance, this task is moved from here, around here, to this place because of this link. Now you are basically creating a working plan for those lovely dwarfs. And as you can see, still they are waiting here, waiting for me to conclude the plan. So they want to start work. Don't worry, game is on pause. Now 4th floor, Astesh and Zone, then create the stairs, common area, now produce tables. Remember, you have only one stone worker station, so you cannot do it in parallel. You have to do it one by one. So dining hall is only for Astesh and Zone, right? But to produce the tables, you need table, chairs, and chests. You need a stone worker station. The stone worker station is 40, so let me, and responsible for producing this is lead, right? Lead was the mason, right? So lead should handle all these, and Rakus should deploy them, but you need to create them one by one separately, and producing this, let's say it's not a link to common area for dining hall, let's say or maybe linked, because you need to, the lead is complaining and say, I cannot blindly just create tables and chairs, I need to see the environment of the room to feel what is really required. I'm artist, I'm not just a worker, and blah blah blah, basically. So anyway, you need to understand that what I'm trying to emphasize here is there is no logical link between create the common area and these two, but I think I missed important task, and that important task is create space for dining hall. This one is missing. This one maybe 10 days. So yeah, it always can happen in the project that something is missing. So I need to move back to my dining hall. See, this is common area, but I didn't mention create space for dining hall. Okay, move back. Engraving, definitely I need a mason, and mason is lead. And create the link. Deploy furnitures. Deploy furnitures should happen once all of this completed. Now let me important. Sometimes you let me put the first duration, then explain this. Deploy maybe 2 days. This one 5 days, 5 days. This one 2 days, 2 days. Engrave 10 days. Okay. Okay. Now let's discuss about some point. Sometimes you say, okay, I want to do it sequential. That's fine. You say produce 10 tables, produce chairs, produce chests, then deploy furnitures. Deploy furnitures means deploying tables, chairs, and chests. If you look at my project plan, I only created the link from 2 chests to furniture. But Rakust also need chairs and tables to do the furniture. It is more better you also link this as well to deploy furniture. So later on, if the plan change, if the sequence of producing tables, chairs change, if you found new, if you decided to deploy new workstation, stone worker station, assign more resource to do it faster, still you have it in your mind that all these 3 must complete it, then you can start the deployment. Okay, let's assume that's the idea, that because Rakust is busy, so Rakust is not starting deployment of furniture in dining hall till all the furniture are ready. Once everything is ready, Rakust is going to pick all and deploy them in 2 days. He doesn't want to bother himself for every single chair, try to pick it, move it to the dining hall and put it there, right? He wanted to wait once everything is ready, transfer everything together and deploy everything together. Rakust believe this is more efficient, basically. And at the end, engraving and smoothing the wall and the floor, okay, by maybe not lead, maybe Astesh and so maybe not, maybe better to do it by lead because it's a mason. He's master of no, lead was mason. Let me double check. Sometimes I forget. Lead is mason, yes. Let lead do it. Okay, then because these 2 gentlemen are going to work on dwarf rooms, so once the dining hall is complete, they can start working on common not common area. Common area for 4th floor is already created. And this is a common area. Maybe it's not a good idea to put it inside of the dining hall. Maybe on WBS it was much better, instead of breaking floor 2 to dining hall and dwarf room, it was better to create another work package as well and consider common area section, common area separate from dining hall and dwarf rooms. But we didn't. and we put the related task inside of the dining hall. Just another reason that I'm saying WBS can be different, and also for each person to define and draw the WBS, it can be different. And also that's a very important reason that I'm saying planning is progressive elaboration, and it means over time you can have this chance to identify mistakes, come back, updates, and improve your plan. Okay, the initial plan, if remain 100% same as day one, then something is really is wrong in your project. Anyway, let's say we keep it as it is because the common area wasn't a big deal for us. Space for 10 room. Okay, this is association zone. Then let's say 10 days, produce 10 tables, 3 days, 3 days, 3 days, bed 3 days, 10 doors, 3 days, deploy furniture 5 days because 10 separated rooms, engraving maybe 10 days. Okay, but now the sequence. Definitely we need this, and it's prerequisite. Let's assume that it's prerequisite for produce of all this, but it's not a logical link. It's not because of the nature of the tasks, activities. It's because we decided that not producing furniture till we see the required space, see the actual space of that specific room. It's not a logical link. It's a more preference. We prefer to work like this. Because of that, we have these links here. Now, for tables, was the lead was the mason, right? And Raku's supposed to deploy, right? And engraving again lead. Okay, let me link this as well. And let's say these should happen also sequentially, right? And because we have only one stone worker station and we have only one mason, so basically we don't have capacity of producing this in parallel. Then deploy furniture and this one. Okay, but still, if you look at the plan, we have resource issue. Why? Mainly for our mason, for here for our Rakust, the deployment. The deployment here for door deployment is as per our current plan. It happened at the same time as. If I want to watch it, I can move to team planner, right? Team planner, and in team planner I can see I don't want to level it, but I just want to find the issue. The issue is lead. Where is the issue for lead? Here is the issue for lead. Produce 2 chests and produce tables. This is I need to find it. Produce source. This is for dwarf rooms, and this is for chairs. Let me find the tasks. Okay, here it's mentioned. So we need to because these two cannot happen in parallel. You need to do the leveling. To do the leveling, what you need to do is either increase the resource. It means, for example, in resource sheet, let me add the peak. I don't want to make it hard. I'm just saying is the initial plan that we provided is not I cannot say optimize. It's not close to no, not close to reality. What I want to say is not feasible. Yeah, that's better. It's not feasible because in some task is scheduled to happen together at the same time, and we have limited resource. So maybe I'm coming to say, okay, I have we don't have issue with the resource. We can invite more help. We can pay for contractor to help us to increase the availability of the resource. Then let's say increase, give provide some help for zone, provide some help for Rakus and Astesh and LED. So basically what I want to say, we don't have the resource problem. We can assign them more resource if required to so they can work based on the current plan. This is a very optimistic approach to solve the resource issue. If you want to know more about the resource leveling, I recommend you to watch my other videos, because here I don't want to engage at this level on Microsoft project. I just want to show you, discuss with you the basic concept of project management by using the Dwarf Fortress video game. Okay, so now let's assume this is our initial project plan. Let me save it. Stop. Dwarf Fortress. Okay, let me save it. Now on project plan, let me set up the baseline. Let me move to tracking gun, because now we are assuming that tracking gun, where is the tracking gun? Let me find it here. Okay, this is our initial project plan. Let me take the screenshot. I think I didn't give some duration. Create a space for ground floor. I forgot to give the this is another mistake. I forgot to give the take this estimation and give it to her maybe 5 days. This one is 3 days, and I have to take the baseline again. Okay, project set baseline. Okay, let me save this file, and now let me take the screenshot. Okay, so what happened was we managed to identify the tasks, and we produced initial schedule plan. Okay, which is this beautiful plan. Now let's say I don't want to finish it here, because I want to I mainly was showing you the software. Now I want to show you a little bit about the game as well, then maybe we can continue later on. But for now, let's go to the project information. Let me activate the project status state, and this project is starting by default 3rd of the Okay, maybe I can project information. Let me move the status date to 6th of December. Status date. Okay. Discover. Okay. Let's assume that the project's supposed to start on 3rd of the December. Now we are in what was 6th of December. So this is our time. Few days passed, and what happened here is this task is completed. So I received the report from the guy that yeah, this task is completed, and now our team is working to dig into the mountain. Now let me do it in the video game. Okay, now let's say these guys, okay, decided to dig here and go inside of the mountain. Let me give them an order. Okay, so this will be our entrance, and they are going here. I press resume the game. Game is not paused. As you can see, these two lovely gentlemen are miners. Look at them. This one is the zone, and this one is Astesh. They are working hard, really hard, to dig into the mountain. As you can see, yes, they are working hard, and they managed to complete. Let me take a screenshot. So let me put it like this. I'm not sure, day 3, or it was day 3 or 4, or maybe put it at T, time 1. There was a problem uploading the image. Okay, as you can see here, the entrance is here, and they dig into the mountain. So that's why this task is completed. Okay, and this task is in progress, right? Maybe update task, maybe up to now, and they are working to complete this one. So I stop it here. This is the second video. I stop it here, and in next video we continue from this stage. I'm gonna save this, and we'll see. Honestly, I don't know what is going to happen with what we will try to build. We will try to build this fortress based on these requirements inside of this video game. And because it's a simulation, I'm not sure what is going to happen. I don't know what is happening around this space. Maybe we end up facing river, maybe we end up facing a cave, we don't know. And we will see how we can handle it. And I hope we end up having a lot of unexpected stuff, because I can discuss more about the project management concepts when we end up having these problems. We will see. We will see what kind of entertainment we end up having in next session. But the actual work with these dwarfs already started. Whatever we have done so far was basically the planning, finalizing, discussion, finding solution, but now the actual work is started. Microsoft project also I can note, put something like this. Let me save Microsoft project as well. And thank you for watching this video, and see you in the next video.